will be moderated by Lucy Haley, CEO of Education Sub-Saharan Africa. Please welcome them.
Good afternoon, welcome everyone here today. In a slight change to the advertised programme, I'm going to hand directly over to Jeff Calder, CEO of Coursera, to give a few opening remarks before he has to head off to another engagement. Over to you, Jeff.
Great, thank you, Lucy. And I appreciate you all coming. I'm hoping maybe I can just get this panel kicked off with some thoughts from the field. Coursera is a company that is just approaching now 10 years old. It was actually started as a collaboration between two professors from Stanford, Daphne Koller and Andrew Ng. They decided to publish some very popular courses online and were shocked when over 100,000 people from around the world came to take these courses on machine learning. Very job-relevant courses that were in high demand but not in very high supply. What we've seen in the last 20 months, at least from Coursera's perspective, I think is a signal of the kinds of possibilities that are opening up in this post-pandemic world. And as Fred said, we've seen a lot of pressure that has forced us to change. I believe in particular that there are three things to keep an eye on that might actually be the indicators and the enablers of persistent progress and innovation. The first one, of course, is just online learning. The ability for anyone, anywhere, to learn virtually anything at any time. We started 2020 with about 47 million learners who were registered on Coursera. During 2020, an additional 30 million learners came to Coursera as their campuses closed. And a disproportionate amount of new enrollments in courses were actually from women and learners in emerging economies. So we see a really big opportunity, of course, with online learning to create better access, lower cost, and broader selection. Another major possibility that has opened up because of technology is remote work. If you will, the ROI of investing, of learning for most students, is based on the likelihood that they can get a job opportunity. And historically, job opportunities have been constrained to the community of that learner. But in a world where anyone, anywhere can learn a wide range of skills, and anyone, anywhere has the opportunity to get jobs, even if those jobs aren't in one's community, then suddenly the value of learning becomes much, much greater. So remote work, I think, would be sort of possibility number two. And then number three, the technology underneath it, I will say, is a platform. A platform, whether it's Coursera or other platforms. That platform could be Uber, it could be Spotify. But platforms are powerful business models because they enable the creation of value by a collaboration of a much broader community. It's not just one company solving the problem. It's a platform that allows many different, that started in 2012 when Coursera started, has blossomed into over 250 universities and industries who have created more than 5,000 courses. And now all these courses are available to learners around the world. We're now at 92 million learners. We offer these courses to businesses who are upskilling and reskilling their employees. We offer these courses to governments who are doing workforce development programs. We offer these courses to other universities who are now integrating online learning and online credentials to the on-campus programs. So I think that we have really seen an incredible explosion of innovation. I believe that there will be persistent innovation, and some of these technology enablers will lead the way. So with that, I hope that we can hear a lot more about the possibilities, but clearly at Coursera, we've seen great progress, and we're excited about the future. Thank you. Lucy.
Thank you so much, Jeff, and thank you to Fred as well for setting the scene so well. We know that tertiary education is central to economic, to societal, to personal growth. And yet we don't see enrolment rates matching the need that's out there. And that's particularly the case in some of those regions where we see the fastest growing youth populations. This represents a huge risk in terms of equity. Today's panel is going to help us understand where we are now and where we're going at a time of huge change. We're going to dig into how we can scale up resilient and accessible education systems that promote equity. And I'm delighted to be joined by an expert panel here today whose experience span the public and private sector policy and implementation as well. Let me first introduce His Excellency Luminus Education, Deputy Chief Minister of Government, Minister of Education for Delhi. I'd next like to introduce you to Ibrahim AlSafadi, founder and CEO of the Luminus Education in Jordan. I will then also introduce Rahim Jovat, Chief of Tibet and Youth Division at RewirEdSummit. Hopefully at some point we will be also joined by Professor Angela Owusu-Ansah, who is Provost of Ashesi University in Ghana, but she's supposed to be joining us remotely. Hopefully she'll join us at some point during the panel. Thank you. So, I'm going to start with a quick fire question to each of the panellists, and perhaps I'll go to you first, Minister, to say, the COVID pandemic, it's catalysed innovation in the global tertiary education sector and prompted many to rethink their strategies. What is the one main change that you were observing?
Thank you, Lucy. Actually, before COVID, we all have been talking about, especially the educators and the education leaders around the world, governments around the world have been talking about the future of the job, considering the penetration of technology into our lives and working fields. Everybody was speculating about what is going to be the future of work. And there was pandemic and there were lockdowns, so everything was shut down. So schools, education institutions, colleges, universities were forced to adopt technology. Innovation it is yet to come actually. It was like I was talking to Jeff has just left, and it was like you're watching a play on a stage, and all of a sudden you bring a zoom camera to the stage. So from a zoom camera, you can't enjoy a play like you enjoy a movie on the stage. You have to be innovative to make a movie from the same content with the same actors. So the books are the same, the courses are the same, the professors are the same. Incidentally, zoom camera is added to the whole education system, especially to the higher education systems. So innovations in order to reform the curriculums, syllabuses, in order to change the teachers' training, professors' training, and to adopt more innovative ways to use technology are yet to be evolved. As I said, it's just like zoom camera has entered into a play, and we all are watching that. So innovation is yet to come, and we all are looking forward. How the world actually evolves around it.
Thank you, Minister. Over to you, Ibrahim. What is the one big change that you've been observing?
The real one, I can see that no one can imagine that youth and talent can adapt that fast, and actually they have been able to do something with the pressure of the pandemic, and to be more engaged with their school, and to do things out of the box, because outside of the classroom, and to work with other people they don't know. And we have seen a lot of success story from those learners today, which is they are doing great in that. I was in Doha 2 days ago, and I find one of my students that he started from Gaza. He started with us studying in the school, getting the scholarship in 2018. And today he is manager of one of the international companies. Those learners, by having expose them to the globe and a new way of learning that make learning as habits and learning from all other platforms, because the pandemic have pushed learners to learn in a different way, and they expose into the globe today. Thank you.
Thank you. And lastly, over to you, Reem.
Thank you so much. Actually, with the pandemic, I think it was really an eye-opener, because we have seen things and experienced things that we thought it would be impossible before the pandemic, especially for the Tertiary Education. And then we realized, no, we can't think. It's actually possible, although with the extreme challenges that we needed to mitigate through different working differently. Totally working differently. We are in Honor, we are working with the Palestine refugees. We are talking about 5.5 million students, in addition to 8,000 students in the Tibet. And here, it was very crucial to us how we can make this kind of shift immediately, because there was no time to think. We have to build on what is existing. Working together has been realized really is very important. Changing this kind of paradigm, the shift that has happened, and facilitating this kind of transformational change. And what we have done, we needed to ensure the access of learning to all of our students, because we know that we are talking about the Palestine refugees, and here it has been even more serious for them and challenging, because they don't have access to technology, the internet, the cut in electricity. So a lot of challenges associated with that, and here we have to move quickly to see how we can support them in terms of accessing their education. Not only that, also we have immediately also shifted in building the capacity of our instructors, building about whatever platforms that are existing, and thinking also at the same time we are implementing as we are planning to what we need to do next, because we have to move really very fast. Response to this crisis, it was really unprecedented crisis, and at the same time plan for the next step. So this has been had. Not only that in terms of delivery, but also we have experienced the need of digitalization as a field of employment, and this is what we need to respond to, because we have to equip our students with the skills required for the labor market, and this has been an emerging field, and therefore we have, with the support of our partners and donors, we are now in the process of introducing new courses in the digital economy, so they are also of course, contribute to developing and to the needs of the labour market. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You talked there about that rapidly changing landscape, and we really see that the nature of jobs is changing incredibly fast, and already there is a mismatch between the skills that young people are leaving education with and the needs of employers. What can we do to reduce that mismatch now and in the future? Thinking particularly about the role of the private sector and effective industry connections. And can I ask the Minister to take that first question?
Actually, it's not about government. The universities have to take lead. Institutions who are providing professional, especially vocational courses have to take a lead. For instance, in Delhi, we have set up one new skill and entrepreneurship university. Recently, we set up this university, and the main task of this university, of course, is to provide vocational courses and degrees. But 50% of the energy of the university is being used to do research, collaboration with the market, do a lot of market research, because usually we see there are different entities who do market research, there are different entities who tute, and then there are different entities who actually employ. We have to merge this. So this university is an innovation where university itself is working with the market. What kind of jobs you are going to have today, you are having today or maybe tomorrow. So what kind of training you require from them. So we are customizing our courses on the basis of emerging needs, especially post-pandemic. What kind of local market, industry, manufacturer, traders, what kind of jobs are they producing or are they going to produce? We are adapting those demands, those needs into our courses. So I think post-pandemic we have to do this fast. Otherwise, there would be generations of people, a lot of people who are having degrees, and there will be a lot of people who are looking for people who can work with them, but it will be unmatched.
Thank you. And now to Reem. We've seen a series of reforms in many countries, as the Minister was talking about, to drive up that growth in TVET enrolments with the hope of boosting employment for young people. Where are we seeing this working? And to what extent are we seeing a shift in those long-standing perceptions around TVET and apprenticeship as compared to, say, more academic qualifications, and particularly for refugee youth?
Yes, thank you. Actually, this is very key in terms of thinking about how we can strengthen the TVET program overall. And we know that the perceptions of the TVET, despite all the, I would say that the policymakers and all of us are really working in terms of enhancing the perceptions so as to enhance the access. But we don't see that the tools, the policy tools are really in place or sufficient in order to make this implemented on the ground. And this is what we really want to strengthen. We need to work all together. So these kind of different strategies working and how we can strengthen that, and thinking about how we can see it from different angles and how different pieces can complement each other to innovate the education. And there is a lot of things related to what we can do actually here in terms of looking at the digitalization, partnerships, and especially that we are, for example, when we are talking about enhancing the employment of the Palestine refugees, how we can enhance their livelihood. There are a lot of challenges related to their employment. We know that the high unemployment rate, especially also for the young people, which is 3 times as compared to the adults. So how we can address that and how we can strengthen their education by providing them with different means, providing them with the skills that they need, not from indifference of even when they are working with us, and we build their skills that align with the labor market needs. And we bring these kind of experiences through the on-the-job training, entrepreneurship skills. So we open for them different opportunities for employment, and we institutionalize labor market linkages, because this is what would make a difference if we work together, different parties, so as to make the difference and the change that we want. Thank you.
Thank you. Huge challenges there. Ibrahim, in terms of addressing those challenges, what are some of the most promising models for transformation in tertiary education that you've seen? And crucially, do you think we have the evidence that we need to make the most of these innovations for the benefit of young people?
Thank you. For who, Luminus is a practical education institution that built in demand-driven. In my journey, 22 years, we have taken 200 small community colleges into 120,000 learners. And in the last 5 years, we have raised more than 24,000 scholarships from 33 donors. And all of them, we have to secure jobs. For the 22 years, building demand-driven program, we can see the shift of understanding more what learners, what youth can do if we equip them with the right skills to the economy, to the whole world. Therefore, I'm going to give you an example. We have 10 schools. I'm going to give you an example of our last development school of العالي Advanced Computing School, where we promote a new type of education, 6 months, and we're securing youth a 3-time minimum wage. And the school have started 6 months prior to the pandemic. The school have achieved massive impact. We have graduated almost 1,000 students with 85% of employment within 3 months of graduation. Of them, students we have never seen. We recruit them online, we educate them online, and we give them the job online. And when I look at the result, I was so proud of what we done, because I saw my students working with Amazon and Al-Fatim and many other companies across the Arab world from Jordan. What I want to say is that the smart employment and the engagement and a new way of education is working. And therefore, we want to take what we build into scale. And we want to be focusing on outcome and impact and employment. And we want to be really more demand-driven, agile to meet the need of the private sector and the learners and allow innovation. And make all of that affordable for those most vulnerable and low income, because they deserve to have high quality of education and lead to changing life. So we have, me and my team created a new model of education that will disrupt the education system. And we will not need, as Fred said, a lot of policy approval. It's a new way of education lead to outcome and employment. And from this, I've been so inspired being here in Expo and in Dubai, what we can see what Dubai have made to the whole Arab world, the innovation and the leadership and a great vision. Today, I want to tell you that we are gonna develop a new solution that will impact millions by outcome employment, and will create one of the most education technology company that will be built in physical and virtual approach, and will be focusing and working in the youth to make sure that mentally and physically and well-being, and make sure that we help them how to learn, and we push them to make all of that as a habit, and with the practical education by partnership with the top education providers, and from Dubai to the cross of the Arab world and Africa and North Africa and East Europe, we will be able to, hopefully in the coming year, you will be seeing the result. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ibrahim. And hearing a lot there about the need to work together across the private sector, across the public sector, policymakers as well as practitioners. But to think for a moment about the young people, and this is the note I want us to end on. What advice would each of you give to the young people here today in the audience, trying to navigate their next steps in the current global context? What should they be doing? And we're going to start with Reem for that question.
Thank you. I would say to you, really, don't think that things will be easy. Things will be all the time challenging. So don't be frustrated no matter what. Do your best. Continue to develop yourselves. The education that you get in your schools, in your college, in education training centers, yes, it's the responsibility of educators to develop and to deliver the training that you need, but also it's your responsibility to continue to develop your professional competence and be up to date. The market is really changing, and it's really changing very, very quickly. So continue to develop yourselves. Freelancing is great, but don't rely on it. It may become absolute. You know the kind of changes in the technology that is happening every day. So this is my advice. Just continue and don't be limited with whatever challenges. Nothing is impossible. You can make it, and good luck.
Ibrahim, what advice would you give to young people out there today?
Number one, mentally and physically take care of their health and learn how to learn and make that as a habit. And learning is a lifelong continue lifelong learning and uplifting your life, because the learning and getting the degree or the master degree and you finish your education, this is not gonna work anymore. And especially women, we want to see the women leading a lot. We want to see women from this part of the world to create companies like Amazon and Apple. We want to create the first women in the Arab world to create that company, because women, they have this potential. And being mentally and physically and learn how to learn and being open to learn from others and engage, I'm sure بناتنا بالعالم العربي راح يسووا شيء مميز. They deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last word goes to the Minister. What advice for young people?
My advice to the young people, especially who are into learning stage, colleges and universities, would be that you learn and you should have an eye on what are you learning, but while you are learning that what, have an eye on how you are going to use it, how you are going to contribute to the society, to the nation, to the human, to the nature. How are you going to use that knowledge? Unless you have that attitude, unless you get that mindset at the college level itself, or maybe at your education level itself, you'll be so confused how you are going to use that knowledge for jobs, for families, for living, for creating something, doing something new, or just surviving with that. So be clear, where are you going to use that knowledge? It's equally important in the life.
Thank you so much to all of our panelists. I don't know where you were 20 years ago, but I would have loved to have received that advice when I was starting to find my way in the world. And I hope you will all join me in thanking this fantastic panel here for their time today, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.